Hello, this is Becker Rosette, and welcome. Hello, testing, testing. Am I getting no desktop audio? Hello. Is this a silent game today? Um, what makes a noise in the games? Yeah, let's get some music going here. All right, that's good. I kind of think it'd drive a guy crazy, you know. Well, unfortunately, unfortunately, I'm a little late. That's why I try to start 5 minutes early, is because I could always have something happen at the last second, and I'd say about 20% of the time something is going to happen at the last second, and I have to fix it. Once or twice the game wouldn't play. In fact, I started playing the game. I set the game up to start playing it before the stream, and it didn't render properly. It was all black with a little bit of green or yellowish green. It was really horrible. Couldn't see any of the textures of any of the blocks. Yeah, when you got a render issue like that, you avoid playing the game. Unfortunately, Cubyz has not been. I've not had too much progress with Cubyz. Only had a couple of sessions, and it didn't last very long. I'm still trying to figure out what we're going to do about these walls. Let's see. Yep. Oh, we got some on us. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we need 4 of them. I finished the 2 pathways, though I don't know where they're going. Well, one's going that way and one's going that way. I showed this on stream last time. I don't know what we're going to do with this area. It's going to go into something in there, probably. Now, here's a problem. At this level, we've got... And we've got some slate down here. Now, that's fine, but I don't know if we're going to have enough dirt, or if we want to waste time replacing all that with dirt. We are, of course, flattening this area out because we are going to build a huge tower, and I mean a huge, huge, huge tower, in girth as well as in height. But I don't know. I've been calling it the ziggurat, but I don't know what it's going to really be. There's that. There's Citadel. I haven't decided yet. I still want to work on the Citadel for another game, which shall remain nameless, but it's obviously Minecraft. What do we have here? Yeah, again, we need to replace all this with dirt. But we need to build a wall here because the wall hasn't been finished. And we haven't finished that yet, but we've gotten it up to here anyway. The saving grace of this area is that there's a lot of extra dirt and grass that we can get rid of and flatten the area out. But again, we're going to have to replace everything with dirt surrounding it, if possible. Might not be possible. Okay, so time to do this. Alright, so start with the bricks. Okay, then we have I think these are next. Okay. As to what we're going to build on top of this small wall thing, I have no idea. I just was looking at my video list, my list of all my streams lately, and I noticed it's all Cubyz and Hightail, and there's no Minecraft for quite some time. I've just arrived at a problem with the build I was working on in Minecraft. I want to talk about it, but I really don't have the chance to right now. Can't work on Minecraft right now. Well, I am playing Minecraft. It's the Middle Earth mod, and I can't do a stream on that because I'm finalizing working on the build for the Shire. I have a humongous area, tremendously huge. All right. So that's a satisfactory wall for a short time, but we're going to need to put stuff above it. I don't know what we're going to do above that. It'll be something else on top. We don't want to make this impossible to see this the wondrous natural beauty of this terrain, but at the same time we don't want to have well, the wall is there, I guess, for your own protection in case there's an avalanche or something. But I don't see how you could prevent an avalanche from messing that up. So we might have to increase the amount of wall at some part of it. On the other hand, this looks classy, so I don't know. Not 100% sure. Okay, this tree is fine. Except if we break this. Yeah, so the tree isn't done. It would be otherwise fine. So we're going to have to... We're going to do that one too, actually. So I found out that there was a trick to getting as many apples as you want. The trick to getting as many apples as you want used to be, this was in either 020 or it was in 01 something. Used to be what you would do is you would mine yourself, or not mine, but you know, break a leaf block, place leaf block, break leaf block, place back and forth over and over with the tool needed to break a leaf block to get a leaf block, and you'd get a leaf block. And you might also get an apple, and that was something I didn't know about, so that was very interesting. Oh boy, about Minecraft, yeah. At this point, I want to just finish that build, but I can't do it on live stream because, as you may know, I can't finish a build sometimes if there's if it's on a live stream. There's a problem with doing some builds on live streams, and there's a problem with doing... Sometimes I'm brave, and sometimes I'm not brave. This is one of those times where if I mess it up, I fall to my death. It's a huge area. I mean, it's such a huge... Yes, I've flattened that out, but it's at a lower level than what we got the land at over here. And then over here, another area has been flattened out. You know, I'm running out of places to flatten out. I'm not completely out of it, but... Yeah, I think we'll just... work on getting rid of these trees that are at the wrong level. Oh, I want to point something else out. See, there's the pickaxe, the standard one, which we had last episode. And here's the new one, which has more durability, although the swings are slower. I kind of like that. Yeah. Yeah, if you could just play one game, if you're going to just play one game in your life only, you should play that one game only and just stop playing all other games if you have building to do in those games, because you definitely want to be able to devote all of your time to it and not have to switch back and forth. Because if you switch back and forth, you're like, I got stuff to do. What was I doing last time? I don't remember, and you have to think about it. And so there's this. All this detritus. In a recent video, my esteemed colleague and perhaps rival Delta, who does his own Cubyz videos, has what was I going to say? Has discovered that branches are better than planks. Now this is actually true, but so you'll notice I'm not using branches, I'm using planks. And there's a reason for that. Because when you have a branch, you could do that. But once you turn it into a plank, you can't turn it back into one of those. And the thing is, a branch equals 2 planks, which is why it's better. But that means you're using twice as many. So for the moment I'm not using but I wanted to test that out. So we're going to test that out, which is another reason I'm messing with this. See, we can leave these for the moment. The ones that are at the correct ground level, which is here. But the ones that are not the correct ground level are the ones that need to... Well, they're all going to have to be broken because I'm going to build this huge tower. But we'll leave these. We'll leave some of these. What was that? That was a weird image. Must have just been a branch, but it didn't look like one. Alright, so we go up here. I swear some of these things look like, well, you know what they look like when they go off on, they have orthogonal turning away from. Right. Ah! We found one. Two more. Orthogonal, and then turns off at right angles, and if all the right angles are the same, it looks like one of those things that I don't want to mention the name of it. There's another one. Just need 3. Gonna run out of space here. See, the idea is it's nice to use up precious resources if you've got them. But what happens when you run out? What happens when you've completely run out of your precious resources and you've got nothing left? The correct answer is, of course, you have to go further and further away to set up, to have more of these. So, although I have these, but that's the point, is that these make a nice building tool as well. So I think I'll just use up the planks. If I run out of logs, then I can set up more planks. Speaking of which, I've got 99, so we'll... And look here, you see you've got... A log makes 4 planks, a log makes 2 branches, but 1 branch makes 2 oaks. This is 2 planks. This is the opposite of Minecraft, which does it the other way around, where 2 planks make 4 sticks. Or is it 1 plank makes 4 sticks? But there's no way to turn a plank back. There's no way to turn a plank back into a stick. That's just how that goes. Well, we seem to have crashed. I don't know what happened. Are we on a separate file now? Are we on a separate video, or is this the same video been somehow resumed? I don't know what happened. I guess I could look and find out. Yeah, meanwhile we're loading up all these branches that we can't use. Like I said, we could turn branches. Hold on. We could turn the branches, well, it's not there, into planks, but we want to turn the logs into planks. I don't know. This is weird. It's all very weird. Why did the stream stop? What went on? What happened that the stream should stop? Oh, there's a bug in the... Hold on, I gotta get this... Nothing more annoying than having a moth in the room, and then you gotta kill it, but where is it? It just went away, so I can't... I'd have to chase after it. Come on, we gotta play this game here. I'm telling ya. These things are annoying. Alright, this is where we were putting these. I'm still not sure if we're going to have a wall over here, because I like this set up like this. I got too many problems. I should quit. I should quit the stream. The stream should be marked a failure. And here we go. Let's just load everything up in here, because there's no point. These are here because we have to do these. So let's put half of them in there. Okay. Oh, look what I found. Boy, they're just loading up, aren't they? I'll find it. I just don't know where it is. 40, 41, 42, 42 plus whatever. All right, here we go. It's weird, the idea that you could make blocks from these, though. Really weird. That's not finished either. That's one reason why we haven't put them anywhere else. We got to finish this building. This front of the building is finished, but the bit above it on the back is not finished, and will require a lot of work. A lot of work I haven't worked out. That's part of the problem. I can't just start building the tower because I'm not 100% sure what it's going to look like. Once I find out, then and only then are we going to have a proper answer here. All right, here we go. We need to make another pickaxe. Let's see if we can figure out how the pickaxe is made. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Okay. Try that again. Okay, so we got this. And we got this, and I don't know how I arrived at the idea that that's better. Oh wait, we were gonna... I fricked up. Okay, hold on. I wanted to see how much better it was. Wait, I'll find it. Have some available. Okay, so the idea is that we can maybe replace some planks with some branches. I wanted to see how good that was. This is the new one. And it's been hell trying to figure it out. So you put some in there and it goes down. So that's pretty much finalized. That doesn't do it. That doesn't do it. Just how it goes. Now, if we replace these with these... Ah! So this is pretty much the new one. The only problem is that these use twice as many oaks. I mean, twice as many planks, and so the equivalent of twice as many planks. And so we got this. It works, but it's... Oh, wait, this is even better. Oh, wait a minute. Huh? Are you saying this is something that really works? It's actually better. Well, now you got me wondering. No. How about both? No, that's not good either. Can we just... No, that's no good either. The question is, though, is it better to do this if it's using 7, which is the equivalent of 14 planks. That's a lot of planks. I don't want to do that. But we'll make 1. It's got faster swing, too. It's got a lot less damage, but we don't really care so much about damage right now if it's going to be like that. So we'll do this, but we're not very happy about this right now. Not very happy about this. All right. Yeah, right now I'm a little more excited for my other games that I'm playing than this one, but this game gotta get played just as much as any other one. Wait a minute, what's wrong with this? That's not right. Think that'll be okay? Yeah, it'll be okay. Well, we gotta work on that some other time. Right now we gotta work on these. Get rid of all this. .1. Yeah, I really like the idea of the pickaxe being like that. The Minecraft is here. Don't forget to lay the sewage pipe and power conduits beneath the road. I have a question for you, Minecraft. Do you see two videos? Do you see two videos on my of the same one on YouTube? Do you see the two of my same video? Because my stream stopped suddenly, and I don't know if it restarted immediately and it continued the same stream, or if I'm not making any sense, or if it's just one. Because I want to know, because I don't like having two official videos. I'm not making sense here. There's like two clips, you know. It's like it stopped suddenly and then it restarted after a few minutes in. So right now I've been going for about 10.5 minutes, but before that there was an additional amount, 15 or so. Yeah, I'm not making any sense here. I'm sorry. Well, we could maybe use the branches to make sewer pipes, but very rusty sewer pipes. I don't know about this one. I don't know. Do I really want to use all those branches for that? I mean, what did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I forgot what it was, but however many it is, it's too much. Too much of those are being used, I think. It's amazing how... Oh, I only see one. Okay, so it just restarted then, but within the video. That's good. That's good. Thank you. Thank you very much. You've done me a great service. And I'll probably receive the bill in a week. Yeah, it does that. Yeah, people are... Okay. I took half a heart of damage. I did not light up down here. I wasn't going to light up down here, but now I feel that I must. I forgot that this was going to happen. Alright, this is good. There's more up there, but eh. Have I been down there? Oh, I need that. Oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, you know it. Oh, I've been down there. And I'd have to fall an unknown amount and potentially take a damage. Entire trees downstairs. Alright, we gotta get back out of here. I mean... Why are holes invisible? Well, I just wasn't shift clicking when I wasn't crouching when I was breaking the blocks. Is all. It's not a complaint. All right, well, we've got some done here. Let's see if we can find any more holes that we could fill in. We're running out of them. We've still got some over here. We still got this huge amount. So let's do that. If only this wasn't so slow. We need a mod. We need a mod for faster crouching. I've been using a mod in Minecraft for faster crouching, and it really helps. But we don't have one on the other games. You can crouch a little faster, or rather, move sideways while crouching a little bit faster in hightail than before. But one of those things. We're running out of holes. It's always better to run out of a hole than into a hole. I mean, if you run into the hole, you don't know what's going to happen. What's in the hole? If you knew, you might not want to go into the hole in the first place. Minecraft definitely needs a complete overhaul because of the changes being made to hightail and because of anything that has ever happened here. See, that's the thing. That's the reason I play Cubyz. It's not because it's a great block game. I'm not too fond of the textures, and there's no difficulty regarding monsters, and there's only the one dimension and so on. The one-dimensional space. But there is one thing that this game has, and that is cubic chunks. Everybody going on about how hightail is going to be great with cubic chunks. Well, we're not going to even get to see it until 060 comes out. Then maybe we'll be able to do some cubic chunks worlds. Maybe. I don't know. It might be that they decide to hold back cubic chunks from 060 and just keep it in the snapshots only. And if that happens, then I can't play it. I need to have a separate instance. I don't want to mess with separate instances because I just know I'm going to accidentally join a separate instance. Join the server on the wrong instance and corrupt the world or something. Well, at least that's what I think could happen. It might not happen. Oh. I'll be so glad when this is all done. I can start work on the unknown tower. I have ideas for the tower, but I've never had a tower so big in scope before. Previously, it's just I could build a citadel, and then I would. Let's see, a citadel. What was the first time I tried to make a citadel? Was it cubic chunks for beta 1.8? And it was beta 1.7 at first, but I couldn't get up there to the height area where I was going to build. That was a weird time. And end up accidentally reporting yourself in the MC chat system. That can happen. It's one reason to get away from Minecraft if we can. Definitely a serious problem with Minecraft regarding that. I mean, what do you do, huh? I keep wanting to grab those, all those little bits and pieces of wood. They'll just take up some slots in, or take up a slot in the inventory. All right. I think I left one behind, but I don't know where it is. The Citadel you made on your first CC server was awesome. Oh yeah. Yeah, sort of. I don't remember. Did I call that a citadel? Because I don't think any longer than it's a citadel. It's very much like one. It's a very tall tower. But for it to be a citadel, it would have to be much larger and much more incredible. Don't think I'll ever be able to build anything like that again. That's why I chose the mods I did. It's like it was perfect. It's like I need these blocks and these shapes, and I need storage to carry it all. Look at that. Smooth as butter. Alright, this will take... This should take at least... This should take about 2,000 blocks. I mean, it was huge and incredible. Perhaps by your standards, go big or go home. Maybe it wasn't big. Oh, it was big. It just, I don't think it was much of a citadel. I mean, a citadel has to... Well, a citadel is a tower that's so big, it's like a city. You know, I'm thinking of the citadel on Gallifrey from... what was it? The Invasion of Time? Or was it the Deadly Assassin? Maybe that's the same place. The same citadel. I don't remember. Castle thingy from Krull. Well, I may as well, since this is cubic chunks, I may as well build the Dark Tower. Only I don't have any black blocks. I could use some black blocks. Yeah, wait a minute. Coal. I can make coal. Making a tower out of coal is like building the Tower of Babel. It's going to explode and collapse. Also, I don't have enough coal, which is a problem. I should have misbehaved more at Christmases. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I gotta take a drink here. I'm going through the night. Enshrouded in flame forever. Or it's a tower so you're high forever. Make a Rick and Morty reference. You're high forever. I'm really amazed at how great Rick and Morty still is after its number of years it's had. They've done such a good job with it lately. They had a bit of a misstep with the anime. Now, the reason why I don't try to build a castle from Krull is a pretty good reason. Didn't that thing move around? Didn't the castle teleport to different locations every was it a month or was it a day or something? And you had like 1,000 miles to travel to get to it. It doesn't. It's not very conducive to a decent role playing of it. Enjoying the current season, yeah, it's a. Yeah, then we got some over here. Yeah, I was rather uncertain as to whether this is a good idea to try to flatten this whole thing out. It's gonna have to do. Ah! What the hell's all that? Remember when you couldn't place a block on these? Of course, I'm upset because I use up these. I want to get these. I need to make a sickle for that. Should I just make another sickle? I haven't finalized what a sickle should look like. What the recipe is. That's what we need. Is we need to save recipes. I have a picture on my second screen of the recipes. I can't call it up though because I don't know how to load it into the game. I guess maybe I could try. Whoop. Maybe I could try to load it in the future or something. I'm gonna have to keep this video short though, because I have to go back to work on the Minecraft Lord of the Rings Middle Earth build, because that is huge. That is a tremendous thing, and it's like it's not even 20% finished. I gotta hurry up. Moving castle. Need the Valkyrian Skies mod and build a castle base with it. No. We're talking a huge castle here. That's not possible. I've only watched Crow like 3 times. I don't think I'm going to remember that stuff. Oh dear. I forgot I got stuff over here. This just goes on and on and on. It's horrible. But it should be possible to flatten the whole area out. I've done as much as I could off camera. But the off camera, as I said, I need to do on Minecraft. Oh, in the Minecraft on 0, I can't build the baseball stadium. I was gonna build a baseball stadium. Can't do it. And they turned the Arnis, what's it called? Anus? Imagine if they called it anus. No, Arvis or Arnis or Armis. Whatever it's called, that thing that generates stuff based on terrain data from the real world. And what did they do? They turned the baseball stadium into European soccer. Somebody was really excited. Somebody was really excited about the World Cup. But after all, there were only 2 girls with it. Boy, you'd have to replenish this so fast. Love the backpack section of this thing. This thing is very innovative. They're adding stuff that is so much better in many ways. than even some of the things in Hightail. Lord. This goes at a nice clip. Reasonably have a decent amount of control over this too. Unlike in Hightail. Hightail seems to have some kind of weird built-in lag to its the way it does things. You know, you start breaking a block and then you turn away. Pardon me. And you turn away and then you turn away and it still breaks the block. Cubyz has backpacks already? There it is. 120 slots, but you could only grab the top slot, and that's just like a a stack on a CPU. You load the stack, and then you've got a bunch of things. I haven't done machine language programming in ages and ages. On my Apple II, I haven't done anything. Machine language programming, not since my Apple II days. Compiled basic, yes. Oops. Hightail's backpacks are also good, but they're different. And they don't have as much slots, and to get slots you have to have the material that I don't have access to, and you have to have you have to have another tier for a workbench, and they might be phasing out some of the workbenches anyway. With a cartridge Hesman. Cartridge. I'm not getting the reference. My poor addled brain. Boop, 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 do. All right, let's see how much more we got to do over here. Have I been working at this end? Oh no, that's just a bridge I made earlier. I guess the idea was I was gonna fill this in, which I could do that right now actually. Uh-oh. I try to do this and it doesn't always work. Sometimes weird things can happen. Also, it might be a dizziness warning for going so fast. Up, down, up, down, up, down. You know, it can drive some people crazy. Just like the flashing lights thing. I have not done a study to indicate to what extent flashing lights are a problem for for the people who have epileptic seizures and such like, and to what percentage of the population. Oh, here we go. You pop the Hesman cartridge. Oh, it's a Commodore thing. Okay. I haven't learned too much about the Commodore lately. On X, sometimes I find myself doom scrolling on X, and I find these guys that are talking endlessly about the Commodore 64, and I'm like, yeah, it's a great computer, but, and they've got the new one of it and everything, but it's yeah, I'm a former Apple II kid, really. All right, you pop the Hesman cartridge in the C64, give you a simple assembly tool to program assembly with. I never had anything like that on the Apple. You'd have to go into something called the monitor. Let's see, what was it? You would type in. First, you'd type call 768. And it would bring you into the monitor. Now, the Apple II would normally be like that, but this one was like that. No, wait. No, this was what it looked like. It would go. That was the normal basic prompt. Integer basic was this. And I have to explain about integer basic in the future. I can't do that right now. And then the monitor was like this. It wasn't really an underline for a cursor. It was like a little square, a little gray square. It was kind of weird. And then what you would do is you would, if you wanted to go back to I've forgotten. I think if you wanted to go back to basic, you had to type was it 800G or something? Or did you press Control C? But if you wanted to look at the program, that was where you got the program. You would type 800, and then it would load up the text. Non-symbolic. So if I changed the path, I had to manually change the addresses. But the monitor did not give me the ability to use machine language with opcodes. You had to type in the bytes in hexadecimal, and that's all that it did. So you had to run a special assembly program that was built into the Apple II, except for some reason it wasn't in my Apple II. My Apple II Plus. It was in other Apple IIs, but not mine. And that prompt, that prompt was like that. Built-in monitor, you were spoiled. I was not spoiled. It was really annoying because if BASIC corrupted, you'd just be kicked out into the monitor. You'd be stuck with the machine language editing with hexadecimal, and you couldn't get back. It was a mess, and I didn't know what the opcodes even were. I had to look up what the opcodes were by just typing in the numbers, and then that's if you wanted the program listing, you go 800L. It give you a one-page amount of some opcodes of the. I mentioned Thanks. I mentioned 800 because. Why am I talking loudly? Do I talk too loud? Let's try talking more quietly. It's almost 5 a.m. People are still trying to sleep. I mentioned 800 because that's where the basic program would start. The listing would not tell you what the basic program code was, but it was really weird in those days to do that. I was fine with just programming in BASIC most of the time. I couldn't figure out machine language for some things. I remember once I wrote this huge complicated program to do calculations for integers up to 5,000 digits. I thought, oh, this is going to be great. Well, you can't display 5,000 digits on an Apple II screen. Limit is what? Just under 1,920 digits. But I thought this would be pretty good, and then I find out that it doesn't work, and I can't figure out why it doesn't work, because there's no debugging. I couldn't figure it out. At least with a compiler, a basic compiler, or an anything compiler, really, you can look at your code and try and figure out how things went or how they should have gone. Ooh, that was pretty cool. Yeah. Man, oh man, oh man. It did it again. That was weird. I'd say about 400, maybe 500. Yeah, AppleSoft Basic was really awesome back when it was all I had. But then you'd notice things like all of my variables were floating point. I mean, we had strings and we had integer stuff, but I was all confused over what we could do with variable types, and I thought floating point is what's necessary because integer type only went up to 32,000, and I was like, that's no good. Oh man, I gotta take a drink here. I really should start drinking alcohol. It'll make me homeless, but I'll be a wino on the street-o. Whatever. Yeah, if I wanted to make a program that generated prime numbers, I could only go up to 32,000. So I had to generate it out of floating point. How do you calculate properly in floating point? And it was driving me crazy because it gets to a certain value and then suddenly it's something 0.00001. But you could go up to 1,000,000. There was a mistake made somewhere in fact, it was because I wrote a prime number program in AppleSoft Basic that I got a computer, which is a silly way to approach this. My parents could not afford a computer, and I was just using the computer at school, and they said, if we're nuts about prime numbers, and I'm like, yeah, cool, prime numbers, I love them. And he's like, need a program, because the teacher was crazy about prime numbers, and so as a result I wrote a prime number program. Turns out it was inaccurate. Because of the floating points, but I didn't know that. But it was successful and fast enough that my teacher was like, okay. And so there's a parent-teacher conference, or no, it was it was parent-teacher night or something like that. I think it was open house, but I wasn't really hanging around there. I was just walking around doing something else. Because I really didn't need to be there at the school. I didn't want to always be there at the school. So Mom and Dad talked to the teacher, and the teacher said, "Does your son have a computer?" No. No! And so he convinced them to buy me a computer. But I ended up with a crappy Apple II Plus instead of a 2E. And at that point in time, an IBM PC would have been better, but we wouldn't have been able to buy a new one. And I don't know if a PC is going to be very good if it's not a new one because you don't know which one you're getting. But the only computer we had access to was a coworker of Dad's was moving to Australia or maybe New Zealand. I think it was Australia. And they had Apple IIs there. He's a cool teacher. Well, he was nuts about the prime number thing. He thought I was going to solve the Riemann hypothesis or something. Pfft, I didn't even know what the Riemann hypothesis was back then. He did ask me if I could calculate pi, and so I did the one where... I forgot how it goes. It's something like 1/3 plus 1/5 minus 1/7. I forgot the exact one, but it was something like that, and it was hopeless because I could only calculate using those really awful floating point variables. It was just annoying. But I should have gotten a PC. I'd have been pissed off that the PC wouldn't have had graphics card. And then I'd have had to convince my parents to get a graphics card, and and then it would have ended up being CGA and Don't get me wrong, Commodore is a pretty good computer too. But trying to program graphics on the Commodore was very difficult. I didn't have access to one most of the time, but based on the program listings I saw, I really couldn't. Confidential outputting wrong performing code long before ChatGPT. Wasn't wrong. As far as the computer was concerned, it was right. As far as I knew, it was right, too. I didn't find out about that problem. The problem was there's a number like... I don't remember the number, but it's something squared. There's a number that's something squared. It's like... Was it in the 40,000s or the 80,000s? It's something or other squared. That's a particular number squared that it's a prime number squared, and my program would say it was prime. Because whenever it tried to calculate the square root of that number, it was arriving at a decimal, which was the problem with the floating point. Okay. Okay, we're going to have to break this tree down, I think. No, it's okay. We just got to break the bottom part of it. Okay. If this was Hightail, though, it would be like, we have to break the entire tree now. No, please don't. All right, let's see. Let's do this side first. At one point, I wanted a Macintosh. When I was changing the Apple II Plus, and I was exchanging it with some money extra, of course, for a 2GS. And I saw the Macintosh there, and I just thought, oh wow, look at this. And I almost wanted to upgrade to a Macintosh, and my parents tried to talk me out of it, and they said, you know, you won't be able to use any of your software anymore. And they had a point. But then we get the 2GS and it didn't have the disk drive for the software. It had 2GS disk, which was 3.5, and I'm like, wow, what the heck is a 3.5 disk drive? Blah. Yeah, how are we going to do this? Just go over here, I guess. Oh, but there's some over here. Alright, fine. Go the slow way. Okay, I saw myself press Q that time. All those computers, I mean, everybody goes, they all wax nostalgic about that, about those computers, and they do are something to remember, but there's people like, I should get a computer, one of those old computers, and just use it. I'm like, why? If you have a reminiscence about programming, you can do so much more today. Oh, am I down to 16? Oh, that's terrible. Apple IIs in my schools were fun to have around. I remember playing the original Mario game on it. The Sewer Pepper. Oh, you mean Mario Brothers? Yeah, I played. That's where I played it on there too, actually. Now that I think of it, I don't think I ever even took it home. Everybody was making copies of games. Let's see. I had original Wolfenstein. I had what's the one with the Spy Hunter? I had Cubyz. I had Pac-Man. Night Mission Pinball. Stellar 7. But I got to play some of the other games my friends had. I don't know, were my friends rich or something? Where are they getting these games from? Pfft. Those games were so much fun. One of my old school friends who went to the same high school with me gave me my copy of Ultima 3. And I previously didn't really give the Ultima series any much heed because, well, I thought Ultima 3 since it's subtitled Exodus, it's a Bible game. I don't want to play a Bible game. But it wasn't. Exodus wasn't the name of traveling somewhere through the wilderness for 40 years. It was. Exodus was that was the name of. That was the name of something in the game. The ultimate bad guy in the game. There was also the name of a castle, I guess. You loved Spy Hunter, yeah. That was the game that I made a copy of it and it worked, and I took it home, and then it stopped working. Like, immediately. It worked at first. That was the one with the da 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 da. It wasn't a very good Peter Gunn theme. Based on an arcade game. I've played the arcade game too, actually. But I always preferred Bump and Jump. I didn't have the Ultimates, but I played the heck out of the Questron games. Questron! That was one I wished I'd played. I don't remember why I didn't play it. I guess maybe it just wasn't available locally, or I couldn't find it, or it was always too expensive if I tried to order it by mail or by phone. I don't remember if I ever ordered anything by mail or by phone. There used to be these computer conventions. I hate to think what the cosplay would have been like. But there used to be these computer conventions where you'd go there and they'd have all kinds of software and things. You know, every time I press this, I'm like, oh no, somebody on the Discord bridge is trying to talk to me. There is no Discord bridge. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Yeah, Questron, another one. There was Penguin Software games. There was Transylvania, and I played Transylvania a lot. And so when the time came to get to purchase the actual computer, I'm like, have you got Transylvania? And he said yes, and then he mumbled something, and I'm like, okay. And so the only way I'm going to test this computer to see that it works properly is I want to run Transylvania on it. And so he let me start up Transylvania on it. Okay, run it. Boop, 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 boop. Yep, it works. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll take it. And I don't remember if I suggested the price or if he suggested the price. I forget. I get the computer. I take it home. Where's Transylvania? What happened to Transylvania? You had a copy of Transylvania. It's not on there. What happened to Transylvania? And so somebody said, oh, he said he was taking it with him to Australia because he was going to buy an Apple II in Australia where they have different voltage. It was the only reason he didn't want to take the computer with him because it was big and bulky and heavy. And it might get damaged even though it was an Apple. Those things were built like tanks. And so he was going to take the software he wanted with him. And that really ticked me off. I was like, I wanted to play Transylvania. He mumbled that he was going to take it with him, and I didn't hear him. I'm not sure that he did say it, or if he just mumbled and I thought he said something else. It's really annoying. It wouldn't have been a deal breaker, but I might have offered less money. But he did get me Temple of Apshai. And although he also took Wizardry with him, I didn't know he had Wizardry. He left the character editor for Wizardry, so I got the character editor. So later when I bought Wizardry, I could use that. But we're talking a crappy old black and white game with vector 3D graphics, vector line graphics. I don't know how to put it. So much magic in those experiences back then. Computers operated on a closer to human level of comprehension. Well, because they were so primitive. Yeah. But being primitive, that's bad. You know, you want to create something with 24-bit graphics or even 32-bit graphics because, you know, you got that fourth channel for transparencies, or as they call it, alpha. Pfft. And yeah, it's great. Versatile programming allows for more RAM. But yeah, human levels of comprehension are really important at some. Oh, this is going to have to go. This is going to have to go. I didn't want to, but yeah, I'll be done. Storm on Viceroy. Oh, Against the Storm on Viceroy. What? And welcome once again to Fritz 4, P4W. Or maybe Paw. But also I just didn't grab clay nor stone, so I couldn't even get any bricks for a bit. What? I'll have to take a rain check on that conversation. What did you... Are those... Is that a game? Look, oh no, it's an Apple III. It's an Apple III. That's no good. I have to get rid of one of them. Bah! Apple... Oh, that went pretty far. There, it's an Apple II. Haven't heard of that game. Against the Storm is a roguelike town builder. Oh, hey, that sounds pretty cool. Wish I had time to play more roguelikes. I loved playing Rogue in high school. That was the thing, is in high school I had a computer class. Didn't have computer classes in grammar school. Well, we did, but it wasn't part of the official curriculum. High school, they had Rogue. I got to play Rogue. I got to download a copy of it. I was so happy. And I didn't have a PC, and I wanted a PC. Everybody else was playing Manhunter New York. But I loved Rogue, even though it didn't even have graphics. It was an all-text game. Oh, we're down to oh wait, we gotta get more gotta get more dirt. Against the storm. I gotta remember that. That sounds really cool. I'm the kind of guy who freaks out about games. It's full of having to figure out what to burn, how to feed your population, which you'll specialize. Oh, it sounds like a 4X conquest game. Queen's orders for reputation gain and rewards. Yeah, so it's like a 4X game as well as a roguelike. What I don't like is when they say a roguelite, and then it turns out it's about trading cards or something like that. It's about you collect a deck and then you play cards from a deck. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. People have a lot of weird ideas as to what counts as a roguelike. Well, I'm playing a Minecraft-like. Everything is a like nowadays. They're running out of new ideas for games. They didn't used to say like, you know, now they'll say a game is Doom-like or something. But what they really mean is it's a corridor game or a shooter game. But shooter sounds too much like shoot 'em up, which is supposed to have spaceships in outer space, which is a good place to put spaceships. Deck builders. Yeah, deck builders. Meta progression. Well, you know. My criteria for playing game is must be able to keep playing game, have fun playing game, enjoy the graphics if possible, enjoy the gameplay, you know. Yeah, there's just so much that's great about old computers, but at the same time, they can't play any of the new games. I don't know what to say about that. It's going to get to the point where my computer's not going to be able to play old games after a while. I mean, new games. I almost did this stream about a game that I just found out about from a couple of years ago called the Pac-Man Brothers. Looks really cool. For a Pac-Man game, there's some people saying it's the best one ever. I'm not so sure about that, but it certainly looks cool. I tested it out a little bit. Looked cool. Playable. Don't know whether it would be something worth doing on a live stream. I wonder if there's any new players who like classic games, like people who were born in the last 20 years, and they're like, I love games from the 1980s. I mean, you don't have very many adherents of cars that are crazy about, for example, the Model T Ford or something, or the Duesenberg. There's just so many games in the world, and somebody mentions a game and it has to be really iconic for most people to know what is being talked about. I used to memorize all the games that were coming out, and somewhere around 1997 I couldn't do it anymore. Just too many games coming out on new systems, and then in 2000 it just went crazy. Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, too many new games. I don't know what it is, and I couldn't remember names. What are we going to do about this? Should we replace all this with dirt? I don't know. It makes sense. But I still got to fill in that hole. Filling the hole that runs through my build and keeps me from this building. Deck build. Oh, you said that. I was looking at the wrong line. Yeah, town economy games can be a lot of fun. I was trying to write one once. It was going to be a role-playing game, not a roguelike. Uh-oh, we're on the last shover. I didn't even have a name for it. I was just calling it the town game. I was going to write my own. The idea is that you build your own town. But it was meant to be a lot like Dragon Quest IV. Don't forget to use the orange safety cones when you tear up the road. We don't have any WIP blocks. That's one thing Hytale has better than us on it. They got the work in progress blocks. Like I've said, I'd really love to see this game and Hytale merge, because this already has cubic chunks. This already has LODs. Oh, we're done. Roguelike roleplay city builder game. Yeah, that was, well, not roguelike. I couldn't write it. I tried to write a roguelike. What did I call it? Called it Have a Bad Day. First, you are having a bad day. First, the car wouldn't start. Then you realize that you're on the planet up in the blah 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 system, and they haven't even invented cars yet. And then I thought, I don't like that story. I don't like that backstory. And then I thought, why don't I write another backstory? And okay, fine, I'll write another backstory. And then I had a really great idea. What if every time you started the game, you got a different backstory? Yeah, what else did I do? Oh man, making my own games was so much fun, even though they were just crap. It was a roguelike though. I could generate procedural levels, so it was unlike a roguelike. It wasn't random generated levels. It was the level 1 was always the same, level 2 was always the same, but they were procedurally generated. I wanted to drive people crazy because I wanted them to say, "Where's the data statements for the level?" I think one of my faults at Against the Storm is I take blueprints, building unlocks, and perks/corner stores buffs way too fast before properly unlocking neighboring glades. Glades. Glade plugin. Yeah, it's a Glade plugin. Oh, I've filled up. Hold on. That's one thing that this does that Hytale also does. Is sometimes you try to move an item and it doesn't move it. Writing the programs games I made on the TI. You had a TI, huh? And C64 was so much fun. Slow but fun. TI was just as good as the Commodore 64 when it came to colors, I think. But then I found out that the keys kept breaking. I'm like, I don't want the keys to break. Yeah, what was that game I was trying to write that was so cool? My brain, it doesn't remember what I was trying to think of. Oh. I had the original Metal TI. Oh, cool, Metal. I guess my biggest problem with the Commodore 64 was the disk drives were supposed to be really slow, the 1541, and then they invented the 1571, which was faster. But I couldn't tell you whether it was an improvement or anything because I never had. Most of my exposure to Commodore 64 was messing around with one at a Kmart. 16K RAM. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just messing around here. Now am I going to have to do that one as well? Wait, 1, 2... No, maybe not. I don't know. This is outside the bounds of what I'm trying to build here. Third-party Jiffy DOS for the drive sped them up. Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Although I don't think I remembered the name. The Apple II had something like that. There were some files that it just really loaded slowly, but nobody ever complained about the Apple II loading slowly on the disk drive. So what they had was the problem was with DOS 3.3, I think. So somebody invented something called Pronto DOS, and everything loaded 3 times as fast. But there were drawbacks, like you couldn't initialize a disk. It didn't have all the DOS commands, I think. So you had to run a conversion program of some kind that would make the disk go faster. And I lost at least one game because I'd tried to do that to a game, thinking the game loads so slowly, but it wasn't running under DOS. Okay, image a bootloader that works in 0.5 seconds. Yeah. I'm terrified of Linux myself. Linux, whatever. Myself. Linux has one big giant problem for me, which is that I'm used to a Windows interface. And I know they've got special interfaces for, but the real problem is I want to run my games, all of my games, and so once Windows is just complete total malware, like everything is bad, then I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll probably be dead by then. Oh, imagine a bootloader. Imagine there's a bootloader. Linux, Windows, nor Mac OS load. Well, of course, because Linux would work better than the other ones. I have a great deal of respect for people who are trying to sidestep the ideas of Windows. I still remember if I wanted to play a big release title that I'd have to exit Windows and run the game from DOS, even if it was installed on the hard drive. Of course, I also remember games being on a hard drive, and you still had to put a disc in the CD tray because of DRM, thus ruining my CD tray, or ruining my CD player entirely. Really ticking me off, I can tell you. Blue Screen of Death! That would be a great title for a musical. Blue Screen of Death, what do you do? To the tune of the song Let's Make a Den, which nobody knows about. BSP. I was trying to make a Doom level, and they were talking about BSP. Something space partitions, but I can't remember what the B stood for. I had a game stop running because macOS stopped doing 32-bit support. Ugh. That sucks. Eventually found out using wine through sick. No, I'm not going to pronounce that. Got Dungeon of the Endless run once again. Dungeon of the Endless. Now, who was in charge of it? Was it Destruction or Dream? Get to make a Sandman joke. We need support for some decent games. Okay. This is what causes me to fall through that hole like I did earlier. As you're trying to get this, but then you may have missed a block somewhere. It looks a little better now, actually. Oh, you see, I can't see the other one from there. There we go. I don't trust this one. Nope, no, that was fine. Wait, am I at the right level? Oh, I see, that was down there. Okay. And this goes over the top of the hole, so that doesn't matter. On this game. Oh, you said that. Wait, why did it look like it just refreshed it? Didn't refresh it. Well, it should have refreshed it. Let's see. What caused me to lose most of my old games was just the discs would stop working. I had Wolfenstein on one side and Stellar 7 on the other side. And whenever you quit a game on Wolfenstein, it would save some data to the disk. But if you pressed Control Reset to do that, it would still... So if I switched disks and then I press Control Reset, it would save over part of the game, of the other game that I had switched it to, and so I lost Stellar 7, and I had to buy a copy. And then my copy of Stellar 7 was different. This is a Battlezone-like game. It, how did that go? It had different graphics and everything. It was really weird to see it like that. Wolfenstein was, of course, a cracked copy, and it wasn't called Wolfenstein. It was called Smurfenstein. You had to kill Smurfs. But they didn't look like Smurfs, which just confuses the hell out of me at this point. What else was there? Yeah, disk failure was usually what was causing that. Improperly copied disks. Let's see. I didn't have too many problems with games once I started, once I had a PC. I'd play anything, but, you know, I'd have Doom, but it was only episode 1, for example, because you couldn't just walk into a store and buy a floppy disk of Doom. No, you had to order it online, or I didn't have online, so it would have to have been by phone number. You just couldn't get the games on floppy disks. I'd go to the store that sold computer stuff, and they didn't have games like that on floppies. It was like, no, everything is on CD now. Well, my computer doesn't have a CD. Well, you're SOL then. We could recommend you buy this nice CD player. It's only something blah 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 dollars. And I'm like, I need that money for the game I was gonna buy. Only you don't have the game I was gonna buy. So I couldn't use my computer to my original PC. I couldn't use it to play commercial games. I had to just program my own games and just use it only for programming and stuff like that. I had disk failure spook a few years ago. I had to use disk utility on Mac OS for it to mark the bad storage as unusable and such. Had a bunch of backups thanks to Time Machine and NES. I heard of Time Machine. Yeah, my hard drive on my first PC lasted a little while. It had Windows, what was it, Windows 3 or Windows 2? Can't remember. Might have been 3. And it just stopped working. Just bleh. Drive gone bad. And so I'm like, well, I'll just have to boot everything boot everything onto a disk. And so I had my old, I dug out my old DOS disk from, I'd already dug out my old DOS disk from high school, and I brought that out, and I was like, this still works. It's a PC, right? And it didn't work. It couldn't recognize the hard drive, because I was sure the hard drive still worked. Even if it wouldn't boot properly into Windows, I think the hard drive still worked at the time. But there was no way to do it, because this was such an old DOS, it didn't know anything about hard drives. I never did recover that hard drive. It would have been really helpful. I could only get into it from Windows, which was busted. The drivers were a problem. All the drivers have to be installed on the computer. All of them. And so I couldn't run my printer. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I was used to the old line printers. You know, where it prints a line, and then it goes on to the next line, and it just prints line by line. Because that's how we did it with BASIC. And so I was like, okay, well, this is great. So I bought a really cheap printer. What was it, $40 or something? It's a really cool printer. My first HDD was a 20 megabytes. Yeah, I don't remember how big mine was. I don't remember. Because I only had it for a little while. a few months at best, I think. So this printer was just crazy. It was... Oh, I gotta take a drink. Hold on. As long as we aren't attacked by creatures... Oh, wait, you know what? I'm gonna have to break those blocks. They're in the way. There's a cheap printer, but it worked with Windows. But it was for printing pages, not for printing lines. And I was trying to get it to print lines, and it was having such trouble with it. I was so fed up with it. I was like, man, I spent money on this piece of crap printer. And it was an HP printer back when HP printers were respected. And when they didn't have their DRM problem of you have to subscribe to an ink service or whatever it is that they have. And I was so upset. Oh, I've run out of... Well, let's go and something or other. Start chopping these down, I guess. So I couldn't run my game. I couldn't run my printer and print anything out. And I couldn't even get printing to work on what was now called QBasic. But it wasn't a compiled QBasic. It was an interpreted QBasic. And that was causing problems every time I wanted to give my friends a program I'd written. I had this great Sokoban game I'd made called Pac in the Box. It was about Pac-Man. I was using the Pac-Man graphics to create a Sokoban, and I changed some gameplay around. I loved it. And I made it for my friend. Well, I made a copy for my friends, and he's like, okay, thanks for the disc. What do I do with it? He didn't know how to use QBasic. He's just used to classic games being installed on the hard drive. I still have the game, and I could probably make it work on FreeBasic into a compiled. Oh, a lot of text suddenly showed up. I heard people blame DMCA law for protecting DRM. Well, most of that old DRM was gotten rid of. The one where you have to have the disk in the drive. They got rid of that, and that was when they still had disk drives. You know, they still got rid of it. Things people just didn't want to do that anymore. They're like, you're just damaging my drive. You're not going to pay for repairs to my drive. And then there was the business of printing manuals on dark gray paper, so you couldn't photocopy it. And then they had a password system that required that you know what was on the verb that was on line 17 of page 35 or whatever. DMC. Well, it's those cars, you know, those cars make such a noise. My favorite song from DMC is "You Might Think." I don't feel like singing today. My throat's not very good. DRM is always going to be a problem so long as there are greedy corporations involved in the designing and putting together of games. DLC is a problem too. I like how Steam sells music TBH. It's just a bunch of folders. Oh. I didn't know Steam did that. That they had. Oh, I almost ran over that. I didn't know that Steam had music. I'm a GOG person myself, so I don't know about that. I could talk endlessly about my problems with trying to make an iPad work. Not the iPads. Oh, what the hell? Let's just start on these. It's gave OST mostly. GOG I heard is good. I got more things from itch than GOG. That Pac-Man thing was from itch, I think. The one that I mentioned earlier from. There's a lot of people announcing their games on X, and it's always, I'm converting an NES game to the Super NES. I was like, what? Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. You've already got the game on the NES. Why do you need it on the Super NES? You'll pardon me, my coffee, tea, or milk is what the hell am I even doing? That shouldn't be there. That should be here. All right. Oh, time to look at the list here for shover. Did I make it? No, I'm not. I didn't make a new shover type. It's the same as last time. Okay, fine. All right, so we're going to look at the new ones. Steam going all in on Steam OS means the wine support for Windows apps is better. I don't want a Steam OS. Don't want Steam either, actually. It's all complicated stuff. Everybody wants to make an operating system. The browser has an operating system, or they want it to have an operating system. Everybody wants everything to include everything else because they think it's better. Oh, I just realized I have something in my pocket. Ugh. Debit card in my pocket because I wanted to buy some t-shirts that I forgot. all right. This is the 1057 durability. Yeah, that's everything. I'll be very careful about this, but now let's switch things up a little bit. Yep. Whoa. Yep. And yep. Well, I guess it's okay, but let's see what else we could do with this. Oops. Oh, that was interesting. Alright, so that's fine as is. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be any good. I really don't want to use up all these branches. Because it's like having twice as many, you know. And an X. The X is really, really weird. I don't even know if what we have is the same X. First of all, we have to put this here instead of here. And I don't know why that is. That's not the way I like it. I like no more than 6 planks. Using using branches is twice as 40%, 45%. And then we're gonna have this and this, and this, and this should work. But they want this. 917, is that correct? That is correct. Okay, so we gotta find... Yep. 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 Nope. Yep. Yep. And yep. Yeah. So I guess this is it. I'll just make one of them. Oh! Try that again. Wait, didn't I have better than that? Oh, never mind. Whenever I played Cubyz, I had found copper to be very abundant. My philosophy is spend it while copper is a relevant material. Well, copper would be great if... Yeah, we can make copper blocks, and those are good. But yeah, one day copper will probably be used for something else, and then that's no good. But we've got... I don't know what we've got. We've got problems. Too much coal ore. Maybe I could turn those into blocks and use that. Copper can still be a relevant material. The problem is who knows how long it'll last, how abundant it really is. We look at the statistics mentioned in the books, but I mean in not books, in the files and elsewhere, and it tells us things, but we're not 100% sure about that. Like copper tools. Yeah. Yeah, I'm always crazy about decorations. You know, that's one reason why in Minecraft, for example, you got coal blocks, but you don't have charcoal blocks. And so I look at that and I'm like, oh well, clearly I'm not going to be making any use of coal or for torches or for furnaces or anything like that, because you know, then I can't make so many blocks. So it becomes like just use charcoal only for those things. And we don't have that problem here because we've only got coal. We don't have charcoal. Because we don't have a furnace to make charcoal out of wood. So it's a question of how long does the coal last. And the trees aren't going to last forever. And you know how all that is. I've covered this endlessly in previous videos. I do like this, though. There's one thing I like about, even though this is kind of random and kind of annoying, I will say one thing about this being like this. You've got a line of dirt or grass or whatever, and then you've got 2 levels below that you've got just the slate, and then in between you've got the mix. So you know it's only going to be for 1 level. I think that is great. I probably should hop on a new 030 world and check how gold the cave systems are. What was the level for gold again? I don't have the piece of... I've got it on my Discord, but if I want it, I have to look at it on the Discord, or I have to go downstairs to where I do my mining, my deep mining for for iron and silver, and I have not gotten down as far as gold yet. It's not a priority. If it was a priority, I'd be like, yeah. I remember like 010 having very good explorable huge cave systems that let me go down and down. Yeah. They were. They moved some ores around. Oh yeah, they sure did. I might have to go even deeper to get iron now. But there's probably still some old iron on this world at the older depths. Higher depths. That doesn't sound right. Higher depths. I had gotten to whatever the 010 gold depth was by just walking. Well, that was good. Can't do that without falling. I have to dig stairs manually down every single time now. Now wait, this is the level. Alright, gonna have to chop down the tree. One day all of these apples will come in handy. Apple block. Or maybe we can make a breakfast cereal out of it called Apple Jacks. Wait a minute, 23? Don't do that. Why am I not digging at this level? Why am I not digging at this level? This is not 21.9. This is 27.9. That's going to have to be another one. That looked like the logo for the NSDAP on that tree. Hey, I got to say it without getting in trouble for saying it because I used a different word, a different acronym. That's a bad thing. This is the stuff I should be digging first because it's the highest up stuff. How did I get this wrong? Oh, that's right. I had to move everything. I had to move everything 1 meter. And I guess I didn't move everything 1 meter. The meter ran out. I have to put more coins in. Can you dig it? Or can you dig it in the morning, digging in the evening? I do not remember the rest of that song. And the FBI and the CIA BBC. Uh-oh. I mean, what's the level here? We're at 34. That's going to be one heck of a drop. And it's going to be so artificial. People are going to look at this in the future and say, it's a chunk error. Ooh. Which it is most emphatically not a chunk error, but who cares? Yeah, see, 1, 2, 3, and then the wall. No, wait, it's 1, 2, 3, then a space, then a wall, right? I wasn't planning on putting up a wall. Why am I up here anyway? Let's just dig out what we can. I really don't know. 1154. I mean, that's better. It's better than the 917 that I have on the other one. But it's using up twice as many branches. On the other hand, we do get a lot of branches, but we just can't count on it. It's not renewable yet. I guess technically it's renewable if there's a near infinite amount of it on the world, but the travel time becomes prohibitive. I know people are crazy about Insta-break. Especially for videos. They want to make a video. They want something to break instantly so they can get that done faster. That would be awesome. But Insta-break requires, like has been said, much better tools than I have access to. Anyone wants me to go in exploring a cave to see if I could find something? I'd have to still go down pretty far, though. North Dakota. Well, what kind of Cubyz feature does anybody would anybody like to see? That is to say, like, if there's a coming feature that we don't have yet, what kind of feature would that be that you like? Or is there a feature that you don't see in Cubyz that you'd like to see? I know for me there's quite a number of things I can't wait for. We're going to get boats in Hightail before we get them in Cubyz. They've already got ladders in Hightail, but ladders are terrible in Hightail. Keep falling down them because it's... You have to hold on to the ladder with a certain button. Well, you don't have to hold on to the ladder. It's just once you start going down the ladder using that button, then you can hold on to it. Nobody ever says, I can't wait for mobs to be in the game. I mean, there's probably somebody did. When will we get mobs in Hightail? But I look at it and I'm like, I don't know. Ladder was going to be my pick. Well, I mean, the tower I'm going to build, or Citadel, or Ziggurat, or whatever it's going to be called, is going to require lots of stairs. And there will not be any ladders. If I had ladders right now, I'd probably well, I wouldn't be building a tower here. I'd be going back to my main starter base, and I'd build the tower that I was going to build in the first place. These look so weird. It's like you were not part of an old man with his walking stick. I'm an old man and I have a walking stick and I don't use it. I can still walk on my legs regularly. But man, do they hurt. Sometimes I start wondering if I used a walking stick, would my legs not hurt so much? I think they still would. And I thought we had a wheelchair. The people who lived in this house, me, my mother, and my father, we had a wheelchair in this house, but none of us needed it. But we needed it for Grandpa whenever he came over to visit, but I couldn't figure that one out. I don't think he needed it either until his very, very old age, by which time he was going to be put in palliative care. So I don't know what I'm remembering having a wheelchair for. It was just in case. But we don't have it anymore. I don't know what happened to it. It just went missing. Don't know if I'd ever want to use a wheelchair. My arms would get tired. All right. I wonder if I could replace the music with heavy metal. Of course, I wouldn't be able to do a video like that. I'd have to make a video with the non-copyright stuff, or the non-royalty stuff, or whatever it's called. There. Oh, wow. Of course, the real problem is, regardless of what song I could replace it with, if I could, it would still be the same song over and over, because I'm in the same biome over and over. That is the biggest problem with music in the game. And not the one about the music is kind of bleh. It's like, I can live with it being bleh. Alright, is there any other... Alright, what do we got here? 26, 25, 24... 23, 22, 21. So this, we can fill that in. Come on, faster, faster, faster. Alright, so yeah, that's in the range. That's in the range. We gotta cut those down. Or not. We gotta chop these trees down, yes, but we gotta place some blocks in this area here. It is soil, isn't it? Making sure I'm not placing wood. Oh, but this is just a continuation of all that all the way down there, so that's no good. Alright, well, we gotta chop this part down here. Yeah, chop these down. Ah! Very weak tree that was. This tree smell. Oh, I got those mushroom caps. Now they've got. Oh, I'm trying to remember which game it was on, but we got mushroom caps here. I think there's mushroom caps in Hightail. But I can't get them to reappear here. I would have to use a whatchamazit on them. A sickle. Now I gotta remember to work on the idea of setting up a sickle, because I want to have a sickle on me. Put the sickle here instead of this crappy pickaxe. It was an old style pickaxe. I shouldn't have wasted so much iron on it. Not important. Nothing. Oh, it's because it's connected to that tree over there, so it won't chop everything down. So we gotta chop this tree down as well. Okay. Mushrooms vertically and horizontally look differently. They certainly do. Inverted mushrooms. Four-dimensional mushrooms. Wait. What? Aha! You were holding out on me. I heard that bicycles are better. More weak-ass trees. This used to be a nice, respectable forest. Well, bits of it. There's not there, but down there, there used to be a really respectable forest. All kinds of things all over the place. And then somebody said I updated to 030, and this big, huge hill. I'm not going to dignify it by calling it a mountain. Just turned up suddenly. It wasn't that tall, and now it is that tall. Boo. Never mind. Oh. Wait a minute. What? How do I have these on two different levels? $21.9. Oh, you know what that is? That's probably one of my that's probably from my main diagonal. Yeah, that would make sense. Alright, so this is the level here. Okay. Can't do nothing right today. Something that sounds like heavy metal, but maybe isn't. I think the thing I want the most in the game is grass spreading. They're going to say, no, you have to do this. You have to build grass like this and do that. And it's like, I don't want to do that. It's natural for grass to spread. Therefore, I would like it to spread. But, you know, you can't hold the game hostage and tell the guy who is in charge of the game how to do things. If he decides to make a mob and you don't agree with the mob, imagine if people didn't like the creeper. They wouldn't want to play Minecraft, would they? If it was that hated. I mean, it would be hated for being a tough mob in the game, but it wouldn't be... Would grass spreading be a game rule or something? Well, the problem is there aren't... If we could break grass and get grass saplings, that's a nice idea, but it has one huge problem. It has just one humongous problem, which is that there's not enough to cover all of the dirt that I want to place. Look at all this dirt. Soil, technically. You've got soil, you've got a dry dirt, you've got... how many types of dirt are there? I don't have a JEI to look at it to find out. There's several types of dirt. As for game rule, I don't mind if they want to make it a game rule, but I think it should be default on, and people are going to say it should be default off. So it comes down to a decision as to how the game should be done, regardless of whether it's something to appease more people. I don't think this game is about appeasing people. It should be about things going the way that the guy who makes the game wants it to be. Otherwise, it's just not fun anymore. Plenty of people hate creepers. Yeah. Well, that's because creepers blow things up. And you could turn... There's a game rule to turn off explosions doing damage to blocks. So that's something. A craftable thing that keeps spreading grass. Well, it would be grass seed plus something. And again, it would be whatever it would be. There would be less of it, probably. Well, you know, this isn't... You see, that's the point. I have my own ideas of what a block game should be. And I'm not really entitled to tell people how to make their game. Wait, was I supposed to do this up here? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, wait, these. Alright. Cubyz. Easy difficulty. Saplings don't cost gemstones to craft. But when we talk about saplings, we're really talking about tree saplings, not grass. Whatever that means by grass sapling. A seed is a sapling, technically, I guess. Make sheep that eat grass, but also poo out grass. Ugh. We've already got sheep that poo in Hightail. Don't like that. Oh, wait, that's got to go down. Another weak tree. Alright. Anyway, it's all speculation until we have an answer, and until we have an answer, it's just going to be lots of speculation. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it the way it is now, but I expect there will be one day a way to turn the brown into green. Actually, that sounds like slavery. Never mind. New monster type, Werepire. It's a human that becomes a vampire on the full moon. That's a strange idea. Vampires are a very specific kind of thing. Most of the vampire lore that we have comes from Nosferatu, the movie, which was made because they didn't have the rights to Dracula. And Dracula, the movie, ended up not being the same. Not being the same. They changed a bunch of things because of Nosferatu. It's all very weird. And before they were doing vampire movies, there was, of course, Dracula, and before Dracula, it was just legends of vampires. Didn't have very much. They were kind of pathetic. And then they had a story before Dracula called Varney the Vampire, which I am told is a terrible work of fiction. Full moon, of course, is utilized in the story of Goku in Dragon Ball, and that was very interesting at first, back in the early 90s when I first saw that. I wanted to say something now, but you got all this text here. All right. I'm telling you that Nosferatu Ector was the real deal. In Call of the Night, I think this bit of lore is in episode 1 or so of the anime. Vampires are made when a vampire loves a vampire. Wait, a human loves a vampire and is bitten by that one. What happens if a human bites a vampire? That's what I want to know. Yeah, see, I've been watching Naruto Shippuden, and they've got this storyline that's kind of in the background. They're always going on about the Red Moon. And there was this one-off episode where one of the girls, was it Sakura, I think, finds herself in a different place, like an alternate world, because something about the Red Moon did that. And then the Akatsuki or somebody else was talking about the Red Moon, and it's going to create something. And I don't know what this is going on about, and I haven't gotten to the point where I find out what that's going to be all about. There's a storyline there with the Red Moon. I don't know anything about it. And it'll be very interesting. And at the same time, very frightening. Because I kind of didn't want to see stuff like that. It's like when they suddenly had that episode where there's a code on the back of one of the summoned creatures, has a secret code on it, and nobody can figure it out. And I'm like, oh man, this is going to drive me crazy. But it turned out all right. A were zebra bites a vampire. He earns his stripes. Gets black and white teeth. I'm going to be so happy when I'm finally done watching all those Narutos and I can start on One Piece, which has been bothering me for ages. Because I'd like to watch at least half of One Piece before I'm dead. Too many distractions on the internet is all I can say. And playing games. Wait, when did I start the episode? Did I start the episode at 4 o'clock? Or 5 o'clock? I think I started at 4 o'clock. Because I guess the stream stopped again suddenly and I didn't notice. Some anime had ended without like 10 seasons. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got hooked on longer anime because of Dragon Ball. You know, 153 episodes in the first thing. Z has 294 episodes? Wait. 291 episodes. 153 plus 291 equals 444, which is how I remember that. I like when a series concludes. I really do, honestly. But sometimes you want them to go on forever. But if they don't have a story, if it's just like The Simpsons, you know, it's just, oh, look, it's The Simpsons, and they're The Simpsons. Any new characters? Once in a while you get a next door neighbor or something. There's this one house where we don't... There's a video somebody did about who lives next door to The Simpsons other than Ned. And the other next door neighbors. And it's the weird people moving in and out of that place. And the house gets rebuilt and stuff. What is the latest recurring character created in The Simpsons? We had Gil, but then he died. Spoiler alert. No, wait. No, not Gil. Frank Grimes. Frank Grimes died, but he's still remembered, so he's a recurring character, even though he's been dead. Gil, I don't think Gil died. I might be misremembering it. Another one was Poochie. Does he count as a character in The Simpsons? I'm going to have a hard time paying attention to when this video started. It might be already more than 2 hours, and I can't tell because of this, because my timer says 54 minutes. Well, we'll go until 7 o'clock. Or if the conversation is really good, we could keep it going. Yeah, Dragon Ball drove me crazy. I was just like, what the hell is this? But it's gotten to the point where nobody can appreciate an anime anymore because there's just so many of them and so many with long numbers of episodes. Got to be really invested in a story to keep going for years and years like that. And One Piece is the worst because I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. From what I've seen of it, everybody is being drawn like these terrible caricatures. Started at 2 o'clock Pacific time, so it was 4 p.m. Central. Yeah, Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. I can live with this. Where was that thing in the air? I got a thing over here now. So is the one in the air broken? remember when I first heard of One Piece ages and ages ago, and they first mentioned it, and I was like, all right, yeah. But I was thinking it's probably referring to a One Piece bikini or something. And I thought, I'm not gonna like, they've got anime with bikini in the title, so I'm like, not sure I want to. I gotta take a drink. I'm not sure I wanted to watch something like that. And so I'm like, maybe that kid who's got a very interesting look because of that hat will be, maybe he looks at women or something on the beach or something, and he's looking for a girl with a one-piece swimsuit. That I don't know. That's all I thought it might be about. And then I'm like, no, the One Piece, as in it's like Pieces of Eight. And I thought, it's a pirate thing. I'm like, pirates never work in the U.S. in comic books for some reason, although there have been some. I don't know if it was in the Watchmen movie, but if you look at the Watchmen comic book, there's this thing that since it's an alternate Earth, that they're nuts about pirate comic books. Tales of the something or other, I forgot what it was. A couple years after that, somebody came up with an independent comic called The Captain's Jolting Tales. I thought, that sounds interesting. I was never able to acquire a copy of it. Maybe I should see if I can download one somewhere, see if it's any good, worth buying. Dr. Stone concluded at 4 seasons. Like, I could see how they could add some epilogue season if they really wanted to, but it's good as is. The manga had epilogue chapters, I think. And that's what pisses me off about Dragon Ball is Toriyama stopped working on the manga, but he was still involved in supervising the anime. But the problem was that the anime stopped Dragon Ball Super. There was more episodes of Dragon Ball Super, and these were not being animated. And I was like, I want to see the rest of it. Where's the rest of it? And then they just went and did Dragon Ball Daima, which I loved, but it was just one story, and then they just stopped. It's a sequel to One Piece 2. If they do 2 Piece, boy, is it going to piss people off. Because One Piece is, of course, this amazing, fantastic treasure item. I don't know what that's about, but the idea is it's like some fantastic, greatest thing of all time, greatest treasure of all time or something. I don't know if it's got magic powers or what it's got. Oh, I'm low on that stuff. I better go back and well, I've still got some. All right, where's the edge of this thing? I don't want to just start digging this. That was it, but this is it, I think. Get a tree in the way. That's going to help. I hate using coordinates, but I have no way of telling anything. All right, so this is 3916. So this is where it is. Demos are really one way to curb piracy. Slice and Dice has a demo. Nova Drift eventually added a demo. Yeah. All right. So is this the this blah 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 blah? I mean, I love reading the comics and the manga and the anime, but it's like there's only so much of it I can bear at the moment. I mean, I'm old school. I'm old school when it comes to cartoons. You know, I watched a lot of really, really old anime from the 1960s. Sometimes it was in black and white. These things were designed for kids. I mean, Japanese kids, yes, but still kids. You know, they got the same kind of ideas and same kind of ideas that any kid would have, really, to a certain extent. Wasn't it called anime though back then? I mean, we might have called it Japanimation, but that had to be something that somebody in the U.S. came up with, though, right? I mean, we weren't calling it anime. I just called them cartoons because that's all that it really was. I didn't notice any difference. Not at first. It was when I was watching Battle of the Planets. And there was a thing happening, and I was like, well, wait a minute, this looks like something. It's a different style of animation than what other people are doing. And I just thought, what is this anyway? And back then, I didn't know that it was a Japanese thing. It was somebody named Sandy Dennis or something presents, and it had an American kind of title. It was Battle of Planets. It's just a variation on Star Wars. That's all that it was. Star Wars. George Lucas came up. I don't know how he came up with the Star Wars title, but he went to college, and in college since 1961 or 62, they had a computer game called Space War, and that's where that comes from, as far as I'm concerned. Star Wars is just a derivative title, I think. And then in 1977 summer, Star Wars has become a big hit, but there's this guy who's trying to get Space War available in an arcade, and it eventually gets titled Space Wars with an S at the end. And then you've got, besides Battle of the Planets, you've got Battle Between... Wait, what was it? Battle Beyond the Stars? That was another one. Then they had Battle Star Galactica. Just everybody trying to capitalize off Star Wars with similar sounding titles. And so I thought it was an American product, and it wasn't. They had that robot, and that was the problem, was that they have a robot. So of course it's going to be like Star Wars at some level, even if it isn't. After a while, I just start realizing there's something wrong, because the animation is different for the bits with the robot, and he never spends any time with the cast of the show. I mean, you got all these people in bird suits, and the robot doesn't dress up in a bird suit. Bird suit. That was the most ridiculous thing. And then they had the letter G on their costumes, and I thought, what does G stand for? So they just said they were G-Force. I thought, okay. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm running out of space here. And so later they started telling me, oh, G, the G stands for Gatchaman, which doesn't mean gotcha in the sense of gotcha, haha, we gotcha. Oh, fun fact, Backroom's movie had the location physically built. Yeah, that was interesting. Did NVIDIA sue them? They should have sued NVIDIA, because there was a G-Force cartoon. Didn't last very long. It was once the Battle of the Planets people lost the rights to the anime, that they had other people doing the anime by similar stuff, and they had G-Force, and then later they had the Eagle Riders. That was so weird. It's like, why are they called the Eagle Riders if they have the letter G on their costume? I mean, these are clearly the same characters. Why do they have different names? So it just pissed me off so much, I had to just start finding copies of Science Ninja Team Gatchaman and just watch that with subtitles. That was fine. Fine, okay, fine, thank you. I wouldn't know where to go to find copies of that for sale. Technically still under copyright, but never mind. I don't want to go on about that. About the Backrooms, yeah, that was really cool when I found out about that. Then they told me how many square foot it was, and I was like, oh, that's great. And then I calculated it, and it's really not that big. It's like something like, what was it, 64 square? It wasn't all that much, and I was like, oh, that's not very thrilling then. Why didn't I cut this down? Another weak-ass tree. I'm never going to get this building built. Never going to get this building built. This is the worst. This part right here is the corner that's the worst offender. It's too high up. 34 is now 31. Hello to Squaz. SWQAAZ 2048. You haven't been born yet, I see. I probably already made that joke before, and I apologize. Not for the joke, though. Yeah, they're weak trees. You just chop down one. It's got like one log on it, and the rest are all sticks. Most trees in real life have only one log, but it's a pretty good log. Oh, didn't even notice. I wonder how different the movie would have been if they had not built the back rooms in it. If they just built like maybe a couple of other sets for other things, but then they took they just made the whole thing in Blender like before. Would it have been as good? Because the set was based exactly on the design that he made in Blender anyway. So it's that's as far as that goes. You know, it's the same thing. Maybe it helped the actors. See, he had a problem with actors during the web series. Although he gets actors, he has actors. He does not have any great performances. His dad played one of the roles, if I remember correctly. Not in the movie, but in the web series. Huh? Did it again. Oh, wait, where'd it go now? It's log, it's fun for a girl or a boy. That's not how that goes, is it? I thought it was it's log, it's better than bad, it's good. Maybe it was from I remember the bit about it's fun for a girl or a boy is from some toy in the 1970s. Slinky. I think it was Slinky. Ah, another one. Good, we've actually got two of them, so now I don't have a net loss for the copper. Still, the blue screen, green screen tech isn't all powerful. Well, yeah, that's just it. You can't see what you're looking at on the green. They did something for The Mandalorian, not the movie, maybe also the movie, but it was on the show. They got this new kind of blue screen thing where they have a screen and they display stuff on the screen. So they are doing something new. But yeah, there is some level of believability that is necessary to approach the proper acting. You might be a good actor if you could fake it, but it's like faking it is absolutely the problem. Boy, is it getting dark out. I'm seeing red. It's the land of the angry birds. The next breakthrough will be the purple screen. And just too late for Prince to make a movie out of it. Purple screen, purple screen. Do 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 do. Purple screen. Now I see if I was in a if I didn't have a sore throat, I could have tried to sing like Prince. I can't even sing like a duke. Some sort of sodium light technology. Sodium lights. That's old stage technology. It goes back to vaudeville. It was a red sky. Oh, like I was saying, I was talking about the red moon in Naruto, and I have no idea what's going to happen there. And that one's going to drive me crazy if it doesn't happen. If the whole thing about the red moon doesn't pay off. I mean, there's just so many. I'm on the episodes with some of the backstory of Kakashi. I don't know when that's coming to an end, but it's just showing how messed up Danzo was. Alright, sing like Duke Nukem. Where is it? I can't do that. An ML open source open weights thing to get backgrounds away. Oh, they're moving. You can see them moving. Wait, this is different. Is this a new change for 03? Because they look like they're moving more than they were. We still don't have a moon though. Sodium lights tech is about particular wavelength, which is easier to isolate to replace background while also using transparent objects like glasses of water without green spill. Oh, I know what you mean by green spill. Yeah, getting those little edges and stuff. Yeah, that was always a problem. There was one time they were using a blue screen for Doctor Who, and they had to have the TARDIS in it, and it like vanished. But that's what the TARDIS does. It vanishes. So they started using yellow screen. They couldn't use green screen because there was like it was like an outdoors or something. So they were using a yellow screen. Then Katie Manning's hair had a problem. In Zero, it is for 030. Good. I like the blinkiness though. This is the most accurate star field I've ever seen. I don't mean accurate in the sense of placement of the stars, but accurate in the sense of the way it blinks and the way but it is moving pretty cool. 040 they make days longer than nights. I've heard about that. I don't think I approve of that. Maybe it'll just be a temporary thing though. Because if day is longer than night, then on the other side of the planet, then night would have to be longer than day. Or, wait. No, that's not right. Oh, we're done with this. I have to leave now. Who's to say Star Posted isn't lore accurate in Cubyz? Well, that's it. That's it exactly. And similar reason about the sun. So why would this planet have a sun? And then I'm thinking, but they're planning on adding the sun. And so I'm like, okay, fine. I mean, you have to have days somehow. According to some people's interpretation of the Bible, the sun didn't exist on the first day. That it was built on the third day alongside the moon. But then, well, how could there be day and night on the first couple of days? And then somebody said, oh, he just made some light or other. And just created a light to serve as a placeholder until he makes the actual weird stories about the Bible. Let's not go on about that. There's no reason why we couldn't have a game with 2 suns or 3 suns, or the suns could be weird colors like red one day and green the next or something. Or have 2 different suns, red and green, and we could have a 3D game. Imagine the shadowing. Just imagine having a shader, making a shader for the game, and then it's like, have a red shadow that way and a green shadow that way. That would drive people crazy. It would drive me crazy. Three-body problem video game. I tried to figure out why they were saying the 3-body problem was a problem, and I couldn't find out why. Because when I was in my 20s, I wrote a program that simulated things orbiting around each other. I was creating some kind of star system, and I had no problem animating a whole solar system or star system. I don't remember if it was meant to be Earth-based. And it was fine. I had no problem with doing that. So I'm thinking, what's all this 3-body problem? How is it a problem? But I guess there's something about the accuracy or something. Well, don't ask me. I'm not smart enough to know these things. I think we're wrapping up. It's approaching the 3-hour mark, and I have other things I gotta do. Sad to say. More logs. Um... Oh boy. Okay, back to the shovers. Yeah, I don't want to mess with the. I don't want to mess with the branches. It's just taking too much out of it. I want to just do the regular planks because it works that way. I've got plenty of planks. I think predicting real-life astronomy would be more difficult as errors accumulate. Yeah, and there is a problem with gravity having errors, but I was just simulating it. I wasn't trying to simulate it accurately. Just wanted to see if I could make it look like things were going around each other. Try to solve my one-body problem. Oh, you mean where to hide the body? We got a couple of nice we got forest preserve, I think. I think that's big enough that you could go at night and sneak in there. And of course, the real problem is considering how much organized crime has existed in Chicago. If you were to go there, you'd probably find a whole bunch of bodies all there already. You'd be digging up a bunch of them. A way to record tool recipes. Yes, exactly. Well, how do I get it? I want to know which one it is. I have a picture on my second monitor, and right now I'm a little bleary-eyed, so I'm not sure I'm looking at this properly. All right. One here. How difficult would it be to live as two human bodies? Well, I think the problem is that the brains have to connect to each other telepathically. And I think it's the nature of the bandwidth between the two brains. I want to make a sickle. I remembered. I have an old recipe for a sickle. I don't know what the new one would be. I only want to make one of them right now. Let's see, it would be something like this. Okay. Then 1, 2. No. No. Yes! No. Okay. 139 versus 118, so that's better. 160. So this is best, I think. No? Yes, I do have a second monitor. I know I had one. I must have mentioned it. I only use the second monitor for streaming, though. And maybe if I want to watch a video that I can't watch at the same time as playing a game. So like Bluetooth brain-to-brain communication or something. Yeah, Bluetooth brain. And that's not going to work very well. But if there was a way to connect the two brains four-dimensionally, with like a physical connection, four-dimensional, then there's the problem if you can't go too far away from the second body, then maybe that would be better. It depends. It's like talking about bandwidth issues when dealing with teleportation, because that's a huge problem. Maybe one body could be a machine instead for simplicity. Oh, you could have like a cybernetic connections to tell it what to do. That's a possibility. Alright, so those are out. That's out. That's out. That's out. That's out. That's out. Okay. Okay, so we've got... I'm going to have to take a screenshot of this. Now, there's a problem with taking screenshots of this. So I'm going to have to... Well, that's no good. Alright, forget that. I was trying to do Win Shift S and it didn't do it. Well, I'll just look at the video. I just remember this part of the video. It's near the end somewhere. And here's it's a 168 durability. That's terrible. That's terrible. It should be 900. Oh, you know why it's not 900? It's because I didn't modify the file. I didn't modify the file for sickles. I modified the files for the other ones. Alright, well, we've got it anyway. We can improve it later on if I change the file. Alright, fine. Alright. Just want to use some of this stuff up before we finish the episode. Before I lose any more of those flowers. I want to keep some white flowers, but it's the yellow flowers I really want. Oh, another one of these guys. Come on, flowers, where are you? I know there's more of you around here somewhere. There are some lab rats with brains. Citation needed. That had another lab-grown mini brain surgically added for the sake of treating Alzheimer's. Oh, that's going to help. Imagine trying to treat Alzheimer's. We're going to give you a new brain. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. and Mrs. Zambezi. Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. I'm here from Curry's with your new brain. It is still there. Is the other one still there? Where did all the flowers go? I know I'm walking around in the place where there are not flowers, asking where the flowers are. Sickle recipe. 30307. Oh, so it's still running. It's still running the original file. That's good. There's some. I need the white ones. Where were the white ones? Did I just destroy all of the white ones? Oh, here's some more yellow. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I didn't have any. I think these are either new to 03 or they're less rare now or something. Daisies, right? All right, we're going to finish this up. We'll soon turn 3D someday. I like consistency. If they do that, that'd be great. But we don't need them to turn 3D. I think they're pretty cool like that. It's just an overlay, and I love that it's an overlay. It's like we have overlays for the ores. That's so... I mean, I don't know if we could do this. Can we do this? Can we do this? Yeah. Cold dirt. Possible. Amazing. Yeah. Oh, I'm happy. I got a working sickle, and I gotta try and fix that sickle. Fix that sickle, oh, the time has come. Bloop, bloop, and bloop. Yeah, we've already got some here. Ah. And the sword. One day the sword will be useful in single player, and I await that day with bated breath. And why am I bating my breath? I'm not going to catch anything. Not even a cold. I can catch a hot, but I can't catch a cold. Alright. Have I got a sign somewhere around here? I've got no signs. And this is, this is still open. And I haven't fixed that yet either. There's that's open. And that was a mistake. I don't know why I did that. What was this room going to be? Is this going to be an alternative sleeping arrangement, or you know, we could. Uh-oh. Something wrong with my mouse pad. Yeah, we could probably find a way to connect that room and that room. But then you don't get a good view when you get up to here. When you were going through the tunnel, you're like, "Oh, look at that. That is awesome. That is an incredible shot." Wait. There. They are working on the sword just a little at a time. Well, so, you know, take your time when making a sword. That's one of the big things about it. It'll get there. I'm not complaining. I look forward, as I said, with sword swallowing breath. Everything is wonderful in the future. It is the reason. If I'm complaining, I don't intend to complain, and I hope you will recognize that it just seems like a complaint, even though it is not a complaint. But there is some precedent. Well, I won't go into that. I've talked about that before, and it's a downer, and I don't want to talk about it. And I have to remember that I'm keeping this here, this thing that has generated in midair like that, and does not fall. But then they don't fall. They're not made to fall. See? But it generated in midair, which is interesting. Oh, which way do we follow the white brick road? There is no city yet. There isn't even a tower yet in this place. The floating gravel. Yeah, if it was Minecraft, and yes, Minecraft can have floating gravel too. There's lots of ways to do it. And there's even a few ways to do it without putting it on top of string or something. So yeah, we're done with this episode. Has it been since? It's almost 3 months. I've discovered this almost 3 months ago, and I'm still not cleared it out. I really should do more episodes of this. I really should spend a lot more free time. But if I have to finish my Minecraft mega build first, which has to be done off camera. And once I'm done with that, then we are good to resume activities on Minecraft 0, and I cannot wait for that. And so, being unable to turn into a third-person perspective, I say thank you guys for watching, and but through my eyes and only through my eyes, and we'll see you next time. And thanks for hanging out.